Alright, so I want to show how to install these factory running boards on a Mercedes W163, which is the ML series, the first generation ML series. These are kind of getting hard to find. I was lucky to find these. I got a set for 30 bucks at a junkyard, and I want to show how to install them if you happen to come across these. So the good news with these running boards, these factory running boards, is that you already have pre-drilled holes when you remove this rocker panel, which I'll show you how to do in another part of this video. But the problem is these fasteners, you're not going to be able to reuse them when you pull them off of the donor car, but you do have these holes. So I'll show you the type of fasteners that go in here, and you can make the decision in advance whether you're willing to do this or not. What I just showed in the panel, they align with the holes that are already drilled in this aluminum on the running board. So the running board is two pieces. It's this plastic exterior piece, and it's this aluminum frame. So the advantage of using those holes is that the holes already line up with the holes in the running board. If you have to drill new holes, which I'll explain you may have to do, then you have to drill new holes both in the frame and in the running board because they have to line up. But there's 6 of these holes along this top ridge here of the aluminum. And when you're pulling it off your donor car, this is the fastener that you're going to see. So you're going to remove this. You're going to remove this bolt. It's like that. You're going to remove that bolt, which is an M6. Is it an M6? I think it's an M6 with the 10mm head. And then once you remove that bolt, you're going to still see this other part. This threaded part is still going to be in the body. And let me pull it out so you can get a closer look. This is a specialized fastener. So this is what you're going to be looking at. That's going to be in the body. This is a specialized fastener called a Rivnut. And a Rivnut is a one-time use fastener. You can see this ridge here. That's actually caused by the installation technique, which requires that you buckle this thinner ridged wall on the fastener. What these originally look like before you install them is like this. So you can see that that part that is ridged out, this actually compresses. So that's why they're called rivet nuts or threaded inserts, because they have threading on the inside, but they act like a rivet in that you can install them blind. So you can't get behind there with the tool. So this is being held in place by pinching the steel. So this little area between the flange of this and that ridge, that's where your actual sheet metal is. So this holds on there real tight and allows you to install the nuts which hold the running board on. So because these are specialized fasteners, you're not going to be able to find them just anywhere. And I don't know that you'd even be able to find this original Mercedes, which is different even from other Rivnuts that you'll find online, because as you can see, it takes a pretty small size diameter bolt, but it's got a large diameter external. I think the reason for this is simply because those holes are actually to accommodate the plastic clips that hold the rocker panels on. And so since most Benzes have the rocker panels and not the boards, this was a modification to accommodate for the most likely feature, which was the rocker panels. So here's Rivnuts. I got this kit on Amazon, which I really am pleased with because it was only $11. It comes with this little case, and it's got 100 pieces. This is metric. It's got M12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, and 3. So these top ones here, these largest, those are obviously our 12s. And the nice thing about this kit is that the external diameter on this 12 is the same as the external diameter on this original install. So what that means is that if I use these 12s, I can use the same holes in the body. However, since this is a 6 that was going through the aluminum, I'm going to have to drill this aluminum a little larger. But all I have to do is drill this aluminum a little larger. I don't have to check the alignment because it's already in the right spot, and I don't have to drill the body. I don't have to drill the still. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use all of these because the kit came with 10. I actually need 12, but I'm going to try to get away at first with 10 because there's 6 on each side originally. I'm going to install 5 on each side because I didn't want to have to buy a whole nother kit just for one of these. If I find that I don't like that or there's any noticeable deflection, then I'll just add another, and for that case I will have to drill. So if you want to have a size other than this M12 from this kit, you're going to have to drill both in the body. You're going to have to drill the still in the body, and you're going to have to drill the aluminum, this aluminum, because you're going to have the holes in different places. So let's say you're going to, maybe drill like here. So you have to drill this, then drill the hole, and then you'll be able to use another size Rivnut. I think you could probably go down to like a 6. Wait, is that a 6? No, that's a 8. Maybe you go down to an 8. 6 is probably going to be too small. Although this is a 6, look at the circumference of this. So that's a much greater circumference. So if you did 6, you'd probably have to do a whole heck of a lot more 6s. But maybe a 10 or an 8, you could probably get away with that, using 6 of those. So for your bolt now, you're going to go and get this bolt, this M12175, which you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. I got a 2-pack, let's see, I think this was $1.50, $1.56. So I got 10 of these, 5 packets, 10 of these fasteners, or the bolts, and then this kit. So you're looking at close to 20 bucks in fasteners when you want to try to do this and install it the correct way. And as far as I can tell, unless you can get this exact same fastener, this exact same Rivnut from Mercedes that has this M12 external and that M6 inside, then you're going to have to drill at least the aluminum on here. You might be able to get an M8 through there. No, I don't think so. I think any change at all in the Rivnuts is going to mean that you have to drill this aluminum, but that's not really that big of a deal. So that's what I'm going to do. There's 3 other fasteners, 1, 2, 3, and those are also Rivnuts. That's this little guy here. So pull these bolts out, and you can reuse these bolts, and then just grab some of the Rivnuts from this kit. This is M5, and these are the same as the original Rivnut here. Actually, I might have to double check that diameter, make sure that I might have to go up one. We'll see, because that just goes on the bottom. I'll double check that. But this is the M5 from the kit, and this is the actual Mercedes Rivnut pulled from the donor car. That's the situation then with these fasteners. So you may or may not want to do this if you don't want to buy different fasteners. There's nothing complicated about installing these. There's just technique to it, and there's videos on YouTube. But I'll also show you how I did that with just an extra nut and an extra wrench. Alright, so I just drilled these, and that's a 1/2 inch hole that'll fit that M12. Looking on this bottom side here, tips for those who might pick these. You see these rivets here? There's a few of them. You don't have to remove these to get at any of the hardware. Here's the 3 spots, 1, 2, 3, where you have this the smaller Rivnut. That's my Rivnut tool I'm going to test here soon. But that's where the smaller Rivnuts, they're through there into the body, and then there's those M5s, those long M5s. So you need to have a deep, I guess, a deep socket or an extension, because you gotta clear this. It's in there quite a bit. And then these are aluminum rivets that have like a black plastic kind of coating on them. And I know that because I took this one out, because you can see it's a little damaged here. You don't have to take these out to reach anything. As I was showing in the last video, you can move that plastic on the top quite a bit. This is like a ABS plastic. It's pretty flexible. So the reason I wouldn't remove these rivets is these are kind of unusual, because I have some aluminum rivets, and I have some 3/16 which fit these holes really well, but the flange is a lot smaller than this rivet flange. So I think this might be kind of a special deal. I guess you could put a washer behind it, but I don't know if then you'd crack the plastic. But you don't have to remove these, so just don't, and you won't have to deal with riveting them. Alright, so I got the running board on the passenger side, and now I'm going to show how to do the same on the driver's side from the beginning. Alright, so to remove this rocker panel, all you have to do is pop out a few little plastic clips. So I'll show you where they are here. Right here. Here's one. And this, I believe, is the sunroof drain. So if your sunroof is leaking, I think that's a sunroof drain. This here, another one there, there, and then up there inside there's a hole. But I'll show you how to remove these. These are just these kind of classic pop out. You could just use a knife to get in there and get it started. And then you can just, some of them, you just grab with your hand, pull them out. Looks like that one's broken. And then this part, pry that part out the same way. Get under it with a knife or whatever. And so you're going to remove all of these, and then I'll show you what's next. There's 5, including this one here. That's this one. This one here is tucked in a little bit. Then you come around here. So this is the front wheel well, and you pull this up, and you see there's one more there. And you pop that one out. So there's going to be 6 total that you're going to remove. And then once you remove that one, you'll pull this off, and then I'll show you how to pull the rocker panel off. Basically all you do is just keep pulling it until it pops off. And there's another one here. So I should say 6 total on the bottom. This is the 5th one, 6th one, and then the one inside here. So once you have all those plastic rivets removed, you pull this off, and you won't be using that again. And now this this whole piece of the rocker panel here, you just pull on it until it pops out. And I'm going to need both hands to do that, probably, but if I can get one out, I can show you what's behind it. If not, I'll just wait till I pull it out and show you. Let's see, maybe on this end. Okay, look at all that dirt. That's probably why the sunroof leaks on this car. This drain is probably totally clogged up, but the sunroof doesn't open, so we just had to seal the sunroof. So you're just going to pull this rocker panel off, just like that. lots of dirt. Alright, so now we have to clean up all this dirt, but you can see now the holes where we're going to put those. It's all kinds of dirt. Where we're going to put those Rivnuts. And this is the back of that rocker panel, so you can see these areas here are where those clips fit. So if you were to reinstall this, you're going to pull those clips out and put them in here. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down at the end, that one stayed on. That looks like that might have broken. It did. That one broke. And you can see all that dirt. So that's okay, because I'm not going to be reusing this plastic piece. Now we're ready to install the Rivnuts. Right, so now that the panel is off, the rocker panel, open the doors and clean this sill with alcohol. This is damaged. It's got like some paint missing and some rust. But clean this up with alcohol, because this part of the running board, so we're looking at the bottom here, this is the lip that's going to be on there, and that's where the tape was. So you're going to take all the old tape off if there's any left on that little lip, clean it up with alcohol, and put on some new tape. And the type of tape that I'm going to use is 3M, what is it called? Super strength molding tape. You can also use the emblem tape. This is what I use on the other side. It's working just fine, so that's what I'm going to do. Pry the clips out of the holes, and then when you're looking towards the rear part here, just remember that this is the hole that you're going to use, not this one. This one doesn't have anything for the running board. This one and all of those up towards the front, those 6. Now on the other side, I was able to use 4 Rivnuts. One Rivnut, when I was installing it, I didn't install it correctly, so I ruined it. Had to take it out and replace the Rivnut with a different one in the hole. So I decided to just see if I could get away with 4, and it seems totally fine. So I'm going to probably just do 4 on this side. I did do the 3 on the bottom, but I'll show you that. I'll show you that next. This is the tool that I used successfully on the other side to install these big M12 Rivnuts. And all this tool is my M12 bolt threaded onto the Rivnut, and then between the head of the bolt and the Rivnut, there's this nut, which is just an American nut that I had that happened to fit. You can see it's not threaded on there. You don't need something that threads on there. And then below that is an internal locking washer, which works way better than the external. I had some trouble with the external washer, so got the internal, works way better. So that's what I've been able to do. So you just tighten this up by hand, get this nice and tight. And the idea with this tool is that you're going to turn this nut, you're going to not turn, but you're going to transform, let's say, this nut, that locking washer, that star washer, and this flange of the Rivnut into a single unit. So such that you're going to compress these together so that when you have a tool holding this nut, you're going to be able to hold all of this still. The idea is to prevent this Rivnut from spinning. That's the point of that star washer, is to grip into the face. And you'll see when we remove, after we install it, that it will deform that face. And that's good. That means that it kept it from spinning. So we'll put it together like this, put it in a hole, And then the installation technique, making sure you're holding it in, because see, it's going to want to do that. Hold it in place, put one tool on this, so in this case this is a 5/16, this outside on this nut, and this M12 is a, what was it, a 19 millimeter? I think it's a 19 millimeter. I think that's what it is. So I'm going to put my ratchet wrench on this, and my open end wrench on this, and I'm just going to hold this nut with the open end wrench and then turn this bolt, and it should, if you're doing it correctly, it should start grabbing fairly quickly. You see how much you have to deform it, and so you can turn that and then you'll still be able to pull it out, and you can look at it and see it won't have deformed that much. But the biggest thing you need to remember is to hold it in the right orientation, because if it goes like this and you're driving it, you're going to ruin the rib nut and you're going to have to pull it out. So keep it in there real good like that. One other thing that I noticed when I was installing those other on the other side with this big M12, it helped me to put a little tiny bit of anti-seize on the bolt. So I'll take this apart before I actually install it and put just a tiny bit of anti-seize on there, and go ahead and install it. And this is what I mean by anti-seize. I like this Permatex anti-seize. So I'm literally just going to put like a little tiny drop, just like that, like that, and then thread that in there. And I noticed that helps. It makes the installation a little bit easier. Alright, so I'm going to install this rib nut. I got it all together here. And this hole is just a little, there it is, real nice, because it's not going to move a whole lot. So I'm going to hold this nut and turn the bolt clockwise. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to make sure that I'm pressing this in. This is a lot easier with two people. Then you can have one person just concentrating on holding this in and the other person turning it. Because if you start turning it and it's like this, you're going to ruin the rib nut. It's going to start spinning. I'm going to try to hold this wrench with my leg and turn the ratchet. So let's see how we do. Okay, now it just tightened up quite a bit. So I think I can stop there. Still hold this nut and break it. Oops, go backwards. I don't want that to turn. Okay. And let's see what we got. Okay, looks good. So, this is a properly installed rib nut. You can see how the star washer, locking washer, gripped into this head, and that's what I mean by keeping it spinning. So we can put a bolt in and this doesn't spin. So that's crimped on there, and that's what's going to hold our running boards on. So I'm going to do that process for at least 3 more. But like I said, on the other side I just did 4. I'll probably do 5 on this side. Rivnut. Alright, so this is the tool for installing those Rivnuts that go in this orientation, the 3. And all I have here is the same deal, just a smaller scale. This is a nut that's not threaded, that the bolt is not threaded into. And I have a star washer. That one is an external star locking washer, which works on these smaller ones, but again, use the internal star on the big one. And then this is the number 5 M5 rivet from the kit, and it does work. It's a slightly different flange diameter, but I installed them on the other side and they do work. The holes for the ones that go in vertically here, skip that hole. This is the rear tire. Skip that hole and do the second hole there, the third hole there, and the fourth hole. Just those 3. Alright, so once you have the tape, go ahead and get the edges started so that you can take it off more easily, because it's a little hard to reach once you put it on. And so now we're going to go ahead and put the bumper on. I'm going to put the bolts through these holes. They'll be going this way, and it can easily be done with one person. Get all your fasteners in. I decided just to do 5 so you can see that one hole is empty, and then do the fasteners on the bottom before removing the tape and placing this, just in case. Alright, so after you have those bolts in the bottom, you can sort of position this under the door, because you're going to open the door next, and then take the tape off and put this in its final position. Okay, so you see how it moves, but it won't move after you tape it. Yeah, be careful of that. Now you'll reach under here with both doors open and pull your tape off and press your tape in there. So once you have all the tape ready to go, push this into place real nice. All the way down. Check the clearance on the door. And you're all set. You can leave it like this. If you happen to get the end caps, which I did here, then you install these by lining. Well, first you look on the back and you read which one it is. And this one says left front. So this little clip here clips around the back, and then you put some more tape. Clean this old tape off and put some more tape on. So it kind of goes like that. But that clips around and goes like that. I'll ask the owner of the car if she wants these on or not, because actually I think it looks kind of nice without them, but it'll be up to her. So that's it. That's the installation on the running boards. W163.